Namaste everyone, welcome back to my channel Awaken with Pradnyaa. This is a video that I'm making after quite a long time. As yesterday I announced my sixth live session on 13th September. Some people started sending me some questions, and I thought that this particular question really deserves a separate video and a separate explanation. The question is, I have heard people saying that twin flame connection is not a romantic connection and it is a spiritual connection. I understand this. I have confessed my feelings to my twin flame, but at times I imagine myself getting involved with my twin flame romantically and sexually. Those imaginary thoughts feel nice, but since this is a spiritual connection, am I not supposed to have those thoughts or imagination? How do I stop that? I thought that this was a very, very interesting question. And I know that there are a lot of people who are getting confused with this specific question. And that's why I decided to make a separate video on this. Now, before I begin, all those who have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification icon so that you get notifications when I upload new videos. And I'm sure you are going to get lots of notifications on my new videos in the coming months. All those who want to have one-to-one sessions with me can find the link to my website in the description of this video. You can check whichever session suits you and you can book your session accordingly. All those who want to follow me on social media, I am a very regular contributor on the website for Quora when it comes to spiritual relationships and twin flames. You can connect with me on Instagram. You can join my Facebook group, or you can send me a personal email, whichever way suits you. All those who are willing to join the upcoming retreat in India, that's going to be in January 2025. All those who are interested in knowing the updates about what is unfolding when it comes to this upcoming retreat, please fill up the form just to express your interest so that whatever updates are unfolding, you will be notified by emails. In this video, I'm particularly talking about the twin flames who are both physically present here and going through a specific journey together or in separation. Why I am mentioning this, because when it is a twin flame connection, there are people who have a 5D twin flame who has not even incarnated in the physical. There are people whose twin flame has passed away in the spirit. So there are different types of permutations and combinations when it comes to the different twin flame pairs. This specific video I am addressing to those whose twin flame is in the physical and they have this whole confusion in their mind whether this connection they have with this person is romantic or spiritual. I'm addressing certain points for those people. In the past, I have also made a specific video that talks about the differences between a typical romantic relationship and a twin flame connection. If any of you have not watched this video, please do watch this video, because this video will give you an amazing insight about all the differences that exist between a mere romantic relationship with a soulmate and a twin flame connection. Now, coming to this question, I'm going to sort this whole question with several points. Coming to the first part of this question, that I heard people saying that twin flame connection is not romantic connection and is a spiritual connection. When you say it is not a romantic connection and it is a spiritual connection, what does it actually mean? First, we need to understand what we understand as a romantic connection and what we understand as a spiritual connection. Because with that understanding, all of us need to be first on the same page. So, according to my understanding, when we say that there is a romantic connection, there is this feeling of romance or love for another person. There is a sense of attraction. There is a physical attraction, sexual attraction, emotional, mental attraction with somebody, and you want to be in a relationship with them and you are romantically interested in that person. And if that exists from both the sides, it would convert into some sort of a romantic relationship and probably also into more committed relationship like marriage, right? That is what we call as a romantic relationship. If we really want to see this from the spiritual perspective, I would either call it karmic, because there is some sort of a karmic contract between two romantic partners. And that contract is based on give and take and some expectation of a commitment or loyalty. That is a very basic sort of expectation in any romantic relationship, that you want your partner to be loyal to you, committed to you. There is a certain set of rules or a template that any romantic relationship would want to follow. Spiritually speaking, it could either be your soulmate. Soulmate also is a karmic connection, and it doesn't challenge you in any way. It doesn't bring any kind of a spiritual awakening to you or anything of that sort. It is a karmic contract with a karmic give and take, either with a negative or a positive experience, but it's a part of your matrix life, and there is nothing more challenging over there. Unless you really have a lot of heavy karma between your romantic partner, there is nothing much challenging over there in a spiritual sense. Now let's come to the twin flame connection. When I say that it is not a romantic connection, it doesn't mean that there is no romance in a twin flame connection. There is a huge romance in a twin flame connection. But we have to say that it is not a romantic connection, because it is not merely a romantic connection. Whatever traits I just described in a typical romantic template, those traits may not necessarily exist in a twin flame connection. It might not go smooth. It might not be very conventional. You might not be committed to each other. You might not even enter in a relationship with each other. So anything that is a romantic relationship trait might not be present in your twin flame connection. There is something beyond to see in a twin flame connection. Does that mean that romance does not exist in a twin flame connection? No, it does exist. Especially when you talk about this sexual energy. There is nothing more sexual than what you feel in a twin flame connection, because your sacral chakra gets activated, your third energy is absolutely active around you. So the sexual dynamic between twin flames is over the top. You cannot even compare it with a normal romantic relationship. It is that intense. And because of that, there is a certain type of a romance that takes place in a twin flame connection. But I would say it's very unconventional. Do you really see any sort of a candlelight dinner, charming prince coming from the white horse and taking you away into the mountains forever, giving you the rose petal bath or anything of that sort? Those type of typical expectations in a typical romantic relationship will never take place. Most probably would not take place in a twin flame connection. Now, when I say it is a spiritual connection, and if I want to really assess it in terms of spirituality, as we all know, twin flame is a part of your soul. Your twin flame is a facilitator of your spiritual awakening. So as they come in your life, obviously your unconditional love and that whole feeling of sexual energy and romance is going to ignite very strongly. Your sacral chakra getting activated like that, and the purpose of getting that sexual energy activated is your spiritual awakening. It may not necessarily end in a typical romantic relationship. Again, I'm also giving a disclaimer. Please listen to this video till the end, because I haven't made all my points so far. This is just the first few points that I'm making. So, twin flame romance goes beyond the normal, typical understanding of a romantic relationship. The two may not even meet, who may not even indulge with each other physically, but the kind of amazing depth the two have in their connection would take you to a different level of romance altogether. I can give you my own example. I never dated my twin flame officially. I was never in a relationship with my twin flame. But when we started understanding this connection and the beauty and the whole divinity of this connection, the kind of romance we have experienced in this journey is out of this world. I can't even describe it in words. How amazingly romantic our connection was. It did not quite fit into any sort of a earthly romance concept. He never proposed me, he never gave me roses, he never did anything of that sort. But what he gave me with his behavior, with his gesture, with his words, with his vibes is way beyond this reality. It is absolutely surreal. So when this question comes that does the romance exist in a twin flame connection? Absolutely yes. And it is absolutely magical and it is absolutely out of this world. But can I really call it as a romantic relationship? No, it is a spiritual connection. You have this soul connection with each other. You share the same energetic blueprint with each other, and it just flows. And you can't really compare it with any earthly romantic relationship. And that is why this statement that twin flame connection is not a romantic relationship and it is a spiritual connection still stands true. So this is the first point that I wanted to make with this question. Then the second part of the question is that I imagine myself getting involved romantically and sexually with my twin flame. It feels nice, but as this is a spiritual connection, am I supposed to stop thinking about my twin flame? Firstly, imagining your twin flame in a romantic scenario or imagining anything sexual in your twin flame, I won't say it is 100% your mind's choice. It just happens. And I truly feel with my own experience that this connection is interdimensional, right? So you are connected to your twin flame interdimensionally on many levels, on mental level, emotional level, energetic level, and spiritual level. Your twin flame is also connected to you in many realms and many realities, not just this reality. So whatever you are experiencing emotionally, mentally, the kind of sexual energy that you are feeling. First of all, you need to understand what is third energy in a twin flame connection, because when twin flames get activated, the third energy will get activated. And third energy is a combination of your higher self, your twin flame's higher self, and the divine. So that's why we typically call it a third energy. Third energy actually awakens your kundalini. So it is highly sexual in nature. So whatever sexual feelings you are having is a part of your kundalini awakening. Your kundalini is awakening. Your sacral chakra is getting opened and active. And that is why it's very natural for you to feel the sexual energy. I would also call this sexual energy as your North Star of this journey, because that creative force, Kundalini Shakti, is very highly sexual in nature. So when it opens and when it activates, that sexual energy will be felt by you. We are conditioned as human beings that feeling sexual is not very good, or we kind of try to suppress that energy feeling because our conditioning is like that, that sexual energy is not good. It's about lust and it's about your degradation. But what we are learning through this experience is understand the kundalini inside you, understand that creative force, the universal creative force inside you that is trying to awaken itself. Because of that, you will feel this sexual energy. As the third energy is active, you will have this sexual feeling with your twin flame. You will have the essence of your twin flame because your twin flame's energy is facilitating this journey for you. So having these sexual thoughts and some sort of scenarios being played in your head is completely okay. This is one of the lessons that every twin flame needs to learn or understand. That first, accept your sexuality. Second, understand that you are awakening the creative kundalini energy, the universal force inside you. Are you able to accept that without any guilt? That is the second thing you need to understand. And once you start understanding this, then you would start accepting your experience. You would start accepting your twin flame. You would start accepting this whole phenomena that is happening with you. And you don't need to relate this phenomena to a romantic relationship and the do's and don'ts of the society. Where people are getting stuck is they are relating to all this higher dimensional experience that they are having with their twin flame, which is absolutely non-physical in nature, into some sort of a societal belief system, some sort of a romantic template which people have created in the society. most of the time we are pulling down the higher vibrational twin flame template into the matrix. We are trying to pull it down into the third dimensional reality, and we are trying to match it with whatever we already know as a romantic relationship, which is very limited, right? Whatever romance we have on earth plane as a society is very limited. It is very much fit into a box with a big rule book of do's and don'ts and ifs and buts and rights and wrongs. But twin flame connection doesn't fit there. So when you start struggling to pull it down into the denser vibration, you start having this confusion. So learn to differentiate between these two. Whatever you feel for your twin flame is absolutely okay. You have to accept that. You have to understand that this is a higher vibrational connection, and that has nothing to do with a romantic relationship template that we already have on planet Earth. Then the question also includes this particular phase that, am I not supposed to have these thoughts? This is very, very alarming. First thing you need to really understand over here is that you are on a spiritual journey. You are not fitting yourself into any sort of a system. As human beings in the physical body living in some sort of a matrix, that some sort of a system that has been already created by the society, we are so used to rules and rule books and what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, because everything is told to you by somebody else and you have to follow what they say, or you have to abide by the system. When it comes to your twin flame journey, that is a spiritual journey, you are on your spiritual path. First, you have to understand that there is no rule book. When you're framing this question in this manner, that am I not supposed to have these thoughts? Who is making this rule? If you are having those thoughts, you are having those thoughts. Are you able to acknowledge that and accept that? That is my question. So really look into this term, why you're using this term in the first place, in a much deeper sense, and figure out that are you really navigating in this journey according to what somebody else tells you. You are your own creator over here. You are the creator. You are on your own spiritual path. There are no rules. Whatever you experience is your experience and it is unique to you and it is your truth. Nobody can tell you what is right and what is wrong. This is the first lesson, I think, and very important lesson every twin flame needs to learn. So there is nothing over here which is supposed to be done. There is no supposed anything over here. Another important point I wanted to make with this specific question is that, as you are saying that when I imagine this, first, you are not completely imagining this. The things are coming to you and you need to utilize those things for your own healing. Many times when you are physically separated, there are certain things which will help you to cope up with that separation, right? So sometimes in 5D, you have some sort of a conversation with your twin flame, or you have this romantic moment with your twin flame, or something happens which is pretty much sexual in nature. Um, if you remove that guilt and if you accept what you are experiencing, it has got amazing power to heal you, whatever you are coping with in your physical challenges. That particular interaction, 5D interaction with your twin flame, will hold the power or a capacity to heal you in many ways, or mend things in such a way that you can cope up with the physical separation and you can really start becoming more and more aligned with that higher vibration that your twin flame is sending you. So don't even question your imagination. Even if you feel that you're imagining it, it's okay. But the moment your ego starts dissecting these things, whether you are imagining it or it is really happening, the moment you start this analysis, know that you are slipping into your ego and you are not really going with the flow. Never question these things. If you are going in a certain imagination and seeing something or experiencing something, go with the flow. Don't break it by questioning it. Once you start understanding how it works, probably it would be way much more easier for you to go with it. But it's very important to surrender to that process and trust that process. And last but not the least, when we are saying that right now in the current timeline, we are not really seeing a lot of twin flames in a typical conventional romantic relationships, right? And uh, the main reason is because we are breaking out of the conventions. We are creating new templates. We are breaking the conventions. We are breaking away from these older templates, and we are creating something new, something that is more higher vibrational. And why most of us are stuck in the old patterns of relationship is because of our conditioning, our belief system, also heavy karma that this planet holds, and we are as a collective are in the process of releasing this karma. So we are still holding a lot of karma, generational belief systems, and wounds, and a lot of things that are denser in energy. Many people being in a romantic relationship still go through a lot of toxicity, a lot of fear that their partner will leave or cheat. But we are collapsing a lot of timelines and we are shifting into higher timelines. So, as a collective, if you look 20 years back, it was a very, very dense time and hardly anybody even knew anything about twin flames. 10 years back, when I probably started awakening, people had started paving their way forward. People started accepting certain things, but still the energy was pretty dense. Today, also, energy is pretty dense, but it is way, way much better than what it was 30 years back, right? So, collectively, we are shifting a lot, we are processing a lot, and there will be a day where you just meet your twin flame, you recognize each other, you don't hold any karma or you don't hold any density in your energy body. And with that quick soul recognition, you just instantly come into absolute amazing union with them, which is very high vibrational in nature. It won't look like the typical romantic relationships you see now. Most of the romantic relationships today are based on insecurity. The current relationships or the templates that we are in are not very healthy. They are pretty much low vibrational templates. But when we collapse all these densities and timelines, in the near future, there will be a time when twin flames just come across each other, instantly recognize each other. They don't hold any sort of a karmic density in their energy body. And because of that, there is no reason for them to be separated. They instantly come in union and they manifest their own unique way of living their life in whichever way they want. They won't be abiding by any societal rule book or anything of that sort. They will be their own boss and they will manifest what they want as a natural twin flame couple. That is what the future looks like. And we are all paving our way forward. But all that I said in this video, I hope it made sense and I hope that it gave the answer to the person who asked this question in the first place. And the basic difference between the romantic relationship and a spiritual connection. So this is all for today. See you sometime in the next video. Till then, see you. Bye. Take care.